Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the Nimbus live session. And today, I'm so happy to have an amazing guest with us. He's somebody that is a business strategy coach, and he has worked with over 4,000 businesses. And out of those 4,000 businesses, 47 of them have over ₦1 billion turnover annually. I myself have been somebody that have actually been under his guidance and tutoring some years back. And for me, it's really, really great to see how far he has come and how his business has grown. So I'm really, really happy to have on Nimbus live session today, Ezekiel Solesi, the CEO of Limbsimple.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for actually heeding the call and the invite. I know you're really busy for you to come down here. We've had a really kind of topsy-turvy year in Nigeria, right?
Yes, sir.
The target audience for our show consists of business people, branding professionals, and students of branding and business in general. And you are a specialist at selling services. We also sell services here at Nimbus, but your service is even more intangible.
Yeah.
And I really want to hear from you about what you do and how you got started.
Okay, so I've always liked to teach, to share what it is that I learned. And I've always been very, bothered by people not knowing how to get things done. But more importantly, I'm big on trying to track everything that I do, which I think has been sort of like the base of how we've been able to operate. Because I can tell you critically exactly how our organization is structured, how our community is structured. Our community is structured at 4 levels. So we have the people who I just started my business up until their first 60 million naira revenue, right? We have those that have exceeded 60 million, they haven't hit 100 million naira yet. We have people that exceeded 100 million, they haven't hit $1 billion naira yet. And then we have about 47 of them who have exceeded $1 billion naira.
Good way.
Now, of those 47 people, only about 2 or 3 of them were over $1 billion naira before we started working with them.
Wow.
So the idea here is that I'd like to be able to just, because the person who is just starting their business to the first 60 million, their needs are different. They need to figure out, is this really the business I should do? Should I double down on this? How do I make money? Then you move beyond 60 million and the need is also different. That's the time you want to get people to think a little long term. Okay, now I'm sure we figured out what our revenue model is, right? So how do we build a team around it? Because you're probably getting to the point where you can't do it all by yourself. You want to get your first hire, maybe a PA, then get an admin person, that kind of thing, right? Now, why are we particular about those types of trying to help people at that level? Is that's the level that they go meet some, structure expert who says, oh, don't worry. And that structure expert is coming from the mindset where they've served a multinational. And they're saying, oh, you need to hire this 25 type of, no, you can't hire those kind of, sometimes you only need a PA. That's the level of structure. I was talking to a lady and she's in real estate, and she's, building, she said, oh, I want to structure my business. I've gotten an office. I'm trying to hire all these people. I said, look, you don't need office. You don't need everything. At the level where you are now, structure is a nice car and a PA. I said, that's what you need now. She said, how do you mean? I said, because now you are a commission-based business, right? If you get this office and back up all this mass, because you don't even have product that you sell for yourself. You sell other people's products. So the most important office you need is a car. Right? You need a really nice car. So if you call yourself that you want to sell 10, 100 million naira worth of business and you show up, you should look like someone that can sell that kind of thing.
Look the part.
Right? Secondly, you're going to meetings with people, don't go to meetings alone. This is the time where you want to start using we instead of just I.
Yeah.
The person who has exceeded 100 million trying to hit $1 billion, it's different. Now, you've gotten into a business, you've run yourself into a space where you now need to raise money. So those kind of people, aspire to perspire doesn't work. It works, but it doesn't work fully. They need network, they need connections, they need the kind of people that can help them figure out, okay, how do we build relationships with banks and all. But the other reason why we structure it that way is that we also sort of promote transactions. We've facilitated more than 5 billion naira worth of transactions within the community. So pretty much we started about 14 years ago. And, and because I like to track, we ensure that we structure it this way so that at the end of the day, we can help people grow. Because at the beginning, when we started out, I made up my mind that I wanted a certain quality of clients. But we decided that we were going to find a way to grow that type of client instead of just attract that type of client. So what that meant was that, there are people now that are in higher product offerings with us, our mastermind and the likes, who started out in business. We saw how their business started, and then they walked there. Because there are some programs that you can't get in with us if your business isn't doing 100 million and above. And it's not about, you cannot will yourself, you can't motivate yourself there. So look, because it costs a lot of money. If I'm working with somebody and I'm helping the person to develop a marketing plan worth 100 million, I need to know that the person has the resources to be able to do it.
To fund that plan.
I don't want the resources by faith. I want you have the resources. Let's execute. We wanted to be able to grow people and provide information that will be useful to them progressively. So that's the reason why we structured it that way. And so far so good. It's been quite exciting. We at the moment have businesses across all levels, and across all levels we provide information that some people inside our community, after they've come in for, let's say, Strategy Factory, we don't collect any money from them because their business is not yet at the level where we can collect money. Yeah. We're providing them 2 or 3 interactions every single month. We are very particular in wanting to grow our clients, not just attract them. If you have my type of job, it's a very delicate job because you talk and then people make life decisions based on what you said. So my goal is to ensure that I'm educated at the very least, a level above our most premium community. So my priority is, at every point in time, I must be the highest level of people in our community. I must at least be learning at one step ahead, and because I've gone through every single thing that these people are going through, if somebody who's just starting their business comes to me and say, I want to start a business. Okay, good. These are the 4 things you need to think about, all right? We had a session yesterday, I have one this evening. You're learning from all these people who sit on like multinational boards and they're telling you these are the things to look out for. So that's what I'm learning while I'm serving the community.
Quite interesting. It brings a lot to mind. Your journey of 14 years. What it critically brings to mind for me, thinking like, one of the viewers, is how did you get to this point where you said, I wanted to go into this? Just could you just share with us, a little bit about your own background?
I've always been the kind of person who loves to teach. So in all fairness, I started my career in 1999. I was in school. So I started reading books pretty early in my life. And I started to get opportunities to talk to people, right? And the first opportunity I did get was in 1999.
Okay.
So I started to teach people, I started to learn, but I also started to teach people what I learned academically. I like to think that I was quite good academically. I'm one of those people that would,
Ethical.
Yes. But the reason why I was good academically was not really because I enjoyed reading. So I figured out early that I would not forget what I told somebody else, but I might forget what I read. So what I did was that I started teaching. Because I remember when I realized that that was my real strategy. I was in the university. I was one of the top leading people in my class, and I used to teach tutorials. So I got angry. I felt people didn't appreciate me. So what kind of nonsense is that? So I chased everybody away for a whole semester. When I saw my results after the semester, I forgave them.
It affected you.
I forgave them. I told them to come back. Because I realized that I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for myself. That every time I stood in front of people and I tried to teach them something, it increases my capacity to retain the information. So that's how we started. But when I was in the university, I had a friend. He runs a solar energy business now. He's still one of our earliest clients and biggest clients. We started a group in school called Purpose Group. It was supposed to be Purpose School of Business, but it was Purpose Group. And we started it because he loved the concept of leadership I loved the concept of entrepreneurship. So I then went to a private university, so I had to do entrepreneurship. So I was a student, but I was also a business person in school. So that purpose group was the opportunity that we had to sort of teach people.
You had to do entrepreneurship to support yourself.
Yes, so and my friend too was pretty much in that similar situation where he also had to run a business, but he wasn't running like a physical business in school. He was running like he was putting money in the stock market. He was doing all this kind of stuff.
Investing.
Yeah, and I love the guy. The guy is how we became friends is so before I got to university, I'd read a lot of books, but there was a large gap between what I knew and what my life reflected. But you see this guy. If you see this guy reading a book, and the title of the book is How to Kill Somebody at 2 p.m. If somebody dies at 2 p.m., he's the one that killed the person. I've never met somebody who had such a small gap between his knowledge and execution in my life.
Wow.
Even till date. I mean, he runs a business that does over 7-8 billion naira, right? It was in the middle of all of that we developed.
Wow. Passion for entrepreneurship has been in you from...
Bros, it's not passion, no. It's problem, man. It's not,
we see you solving problems for people, helping people solve problems, joining hands with people to solve problems.
It's problem.
It's your cross to carry.
Yes, it's not passion, no. It's problem. When you have school fees to pay, you solve problems with people. You solve problems with people.
Okay, so looking at it now from that dynamic of, coming out of school and then coming into the world, which is different from school. I bet you guys were getting paid for a purpose group, right? Or was
it was free.
It was free.
Oh, we're doing it for free. We're doing business.
Wow.
I was doing business, so I didn't need to charge.
So it was more like impact.
Yeah, it was impact. It was practice. Really, that's what it was.
Practice.
It was impact. It was practice. So when I was in secondary school, I had this friend that got me into reading books. So that's where I got my first opportunity to speak. But I'd read so many books that I don't know where I got the idea. I'd read so many books of very wealthy people not going to university. So I just got the idea that I wasn't interested in university.
You want to drop out?
Yeah.
So you hadn't even gotten to, you were still in secondary school?
I did 2 years out and before I went to university. No, I wasn't interested in university. I'd read too many books. Bill Gates dropped out, everybody dropped out. Let's not bother. Let's keep going. Right? So, in fact, the reason why I went to university was that I was reading a book and then the guy talked about the importance of networking. And he was given an instance that the major place you would be able to build quality network was in university. So when I saw that, I said, okay, so now I want to go to university.
Yeah.
Right? So the idea of being able to build myself into somebody who's very valuable started out when I was in school, right? And by the time I got into university and we started Purpose Group, one of the things that we said we were going to do, one was I was teaching people entrepreneurship. And so I had to ensure that I built a life of entrepreneurship. So I had absolutely no plans taking a job when I left school, and I didn't. That's one. Two, I was only going to try to share things that I have done. So which is why I told you that at any point in time, I'm trying to learn at least one step ahead of the people that I'm working with.
Yeah.
So if I haven't done something, if I haven't practiced something, I don't have confidence to share it. So that's what made it easy for us to not exactly charge people at the time, because we were teaching them entrepreneurship. They were students, they didn't have money.
Yeah.
So the only way for us to, if we tell them to go and bring money, what would they do? But they had money, they're private.
Some of them,
so they had money.
Yeah.
But the point was, we wanted to show them at the time that we were doing what we asked them to do, so we didn't have to charge them. Although, as I then left school, I realized that sometimes when people pay, they pay attention. So people had to, because I continued that in school, and it was Shege Pro Max.
That's a very solid line you just dropped now.
Yeah, I mean, Shege Pro Max. People, because when I left school, I continued doing free events. But I realized that when I did a lot of these free events, the people, as excited as they were about the event, they never executed. So I couldn't get them to do anything.
And you were actually following up on this?
Yeah, no, I have people. I've been very, very fortunate. I'm very lucky to have the ability to build long-term relationships. I have relationships that I've had for 20-something years, but I have to see progress, So I couldn't see progress, and so we now said that, look, you know what? Why don't we ask people to pay something? And we realized that as people started to pay, they started to execute. And I was like, okay, maybe that's, so we still do have a few things that we do for people for free, right? But we have a lot of things that we realize that for people that really want to change, they have to be able to make some commitment in their life. If it's like when you go to the bank, you want to borrow 100 million. They ask you, how much do you have?
Collateral.
Do you have collateral? Do you have some part of the money? Nobody is going to believe in you more than you believe in yourself.
Yeah.
To your question again, that's how we started. Purpose Group is like the main,
it's quite a
base
journey.
Stuff. Yeah, it's been
quite a journey. And it's so fascinating. You're an entrepreneur. You actually been a student entrepreneur.
Oh yes.
And then you transitioned into full-time entrepreneurship straight after school. So you are well qualified to speak on the entrepreneurship journey for a Nigerian small business.
Yeah.
And just off camera, we're discussing about what you see as the issues and the problems for Nigerian businesses. In everything you've said, one thing I can definitely identify is the mentality, and that success mentality.
Yeah.
You spoke about reading, you spoke about having to sacrifice something or pay for something, which gives you a mentality of value. So in terms of mentality for Nigerian businesses, and these are really funny times for Nigeria economically, what would you say to Nigerian businesses, or what would you give as some advice, and also you're looking at the landscape? So
the fact is that things are tough, but the other fact is that that's not exactly truth. I realized that you would always see what you're looking for. There are people in this, as bad as this economy has been, this is the best time of their lives. The last 4 years, we've seen more than 28 businesses hit their first billionaire revenue 2019, 2020 up until now.
After COVID.
Do you understand? So the first thing I always say to entrepreneurs is that you have to realize that everything is present. You would find what you're looking for. Yeah. The country is tough and the country is easy. You would find what you're looking for. Now, it doesn't mean that the reality, yes, is fuel more expensive, yes. Is food more expensive, yes. But what that now means is, so this is the way I like to look at it. And it might sound quite insensitive, but every Nigerian idolizes these global economies, UK, US. Fortunately, you lived in the UK before. And we pray every day that our country should be like that country, right?
We are running a mass there.
Right? Good. How do we know that that's not already happening?
That our country is like their country.
How do we know that that's not already happening? Because you see, if Nigeria becomes like the UK, they love Nigeria already.
For it to be like the UK.
What it means is that you pay your rent monthly. The Lagos State government has a law to that effect. Most people are happy about it, but what they don't realize is that the moment you start to pay your rent monthly, rent is going to skyrocket.
Yes.
That's why somebody's paying £1,000 a month in the UK.
Yes.
And you're getting like
the £1,000 a month is somebody's yearly rent.
Do you understand? How do we, now they're tightening all the buttons. Now we're going to pay tax. If you earn money in the UK, between 40 to 52% of your money is going for taxes.
It's going for taxes.
Right?
Yeah.
Food is significantly expensive.
Yes.
Fuel is significantly expensive.
Yes.
And what's the difference between a Nigerian who's here and a Nigerian who's there? Is that the Nigerian who's there realizes it and then makes a decision, I'm going to work significantly harder. That's the decision Nigerians have not made.
Wow.
We haven't made that decision.
So in your estimation, you feel we are not working as hard as they are?
I don't think so. Now, are we laboring? Yes, we're laboring more. But we're not working as hard.
Please help us explain this.
And the difference is, we're busy. We're not applying our minds. And you see a lot of business people. Before I get there, I want to say, so the big thing that I see is a lot of businesses in Nigeria don't think big enough, right? Now, let me give you a bit of background. I have been sort of homeless before. In fact, let me tell you, when we went to private university, we were squatting.
Your entire family?
Yeah. Which was a big thing, because at the time, my dad was like, even though we're squatting, it's temporary. Let's not make a permanent decision based on what's happening
temporary
now,
situation, yeah.
Right? Because if you were in a place like that, right, the opportunities there will be a lot more than if you were in a different place, right? So, I mean, we've been homeless before, we've squatted before, we've done all of that. And I'm saying all of that just as a base to say, look, in the middle of all of that, you can think bigger. Most Nigerians think very small. And so a Nigerian business person says he's successful. And how much is your business doing? 50 million. You're not. Because you say, oh, I'm successful at 50 million a year. I want to try and diversify to what? You see, because you can't diversify if you have not deepened the roots in any industry. So the question, and if you start to think big and think about the next 5-10 years, then you start to plan for it, right? And Nigerian businesses now need to start to think, okay, I need to plan for it. If I'm planning for it, the first question is, the industry that I'm in, will it still be here in 10 years' time, right? Is it an expanding industry or is it a shrinking one?
So how do you know that?
Yeah, so to determine whether, when people come to me and say, I want to do a business, so there are 4 ways that I like to help people figure it out. So the first is, you want to get into a business, it has to be in a huge expanding industry, not a shrinking one. And the reason is that Nigerians are very good into getting into hot industries that are already dying out, right? An industry is very hot, but it's dying out, right? So, for example, 20 plus years ago, it made a lot of sense to own a cyber cafe. Now, there are more people online today, but is cyber cafe a good business?
It's almost non-existent.
It's non-existent.
I think it has switched to hub.
Yeah. So, exactly. So, people are not just going to show up and pay for internet anymore, because we are way off.
They'll pay for a virtual office.
They'll pay for a virtual office, they'll pay for all of that, but they don't pay for internet. When was the last time you bought recharge card on the streets?
I can't remember.
Do you understand? But it used to be a massive business.
Yes, so I think it's still a business.
It's not. Are there more people buying
airtime? There were people printing those paper, airtime paper.
But the business of selling recharge card is shrinking.
It's almost. Then they used to hawk recharge cards.
It's shrinking. So the question is it an industry that is expanding or is it one that is shrinking, right? Because if it's shrinking, carry your bags, get out. If it's expanding, then you can double down on it, right? The second is, can I build it to become something unique? Meaning that, can I move from people wanting my product category to wanting me? The moment somebody goes beyond, I want a phone, to I want an iPhone, then they're willing to pay a little extra for the iPhone. Yeah. Move from I want a phone to I want a Samsung, then they're willing to pay for it. But there are other brands that haven't differentiated themselves that much. They have to fight to be the cheapest in the market. So price. You hear, oh, this is the cheapest smartphone that you can ever own in Nigeria, or the most budget-friendly smartphone and all that. And anybody who plays the price game is playing to their debt. Yes. Because the price game ultimately leads to
because costs keep going up.
You understand? So the third is, this thing, does it give me leverage? And what does that mean? It means that, is this business scalable? Because there are businesses that you cannot scale, or you can't scale that easily, right? Businesses, I think the number one thing is they have to think bigger and they have to think long-term, right? Because when you think bigger, and when somebody asks me, how big should we think? I have this activity that I like to do in class, where we run people through a particular test to find out how much they spend every month as CEO. And then the goal would now be, build a business that the amount of money you spend on a monthly basis now should be the amount of money that you pay to somebody that works for you in 5 years. you know. So we always ask, how big does your business need to get to pay 20 people the amount of money that you just
are earning right now?
Because if you don't build a business that can represent the dream of your staff, you can't have people will not be here.
Yeah.
There's nobody loves you that much to come and die for you. What they want to do is they want to work here and they have dreams.
Yeah.
Their life is going to change. There are people that are working here who work for you now, who are not married, right? Maybe they are male, they are female. In 2 years, 3 years, God willing, they'll get married. Then they have kids. They get married, their life changes. They have kids, their life significantly changes.
Yeah.
So the question is, what is the business doing to ensure that we are ahead of their life changes?
We can meet them there.
Because
they will meet us there.
The moment somebody's salary can take care of rent, school fees, and upkeep, right? And they don't see how it's going to happen in 2-3 years, and they're good, they're going to find another job. And they'll be very right for doing so, right? So as business owners, how big should you grow? Grow big enough so that at any point in time, the people who are going to say to you that I'm going to be committed, I'm going to be loyal, I'm going to be valuable, right? That everything that they want in life, the business can provide, right? I mean, Tony Lumin has done that perfectly well. I mean, if you look at his core team has remained almost the same for more than a decade. But you see how they've moved.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Owen used to be MD at Transcorp Hilton. She's at Transcorp, at the Transcorp Group now. She's president of Transcorp Group. You know, Mrs. Dupra used to be a manager somewhere. She's moved. You know, you see how their lives have moved. And because, for Dr. Owen to have an idea and live, God has to talk to her. Like Jesus Christ would appear in flesh and then collaborate with God and Holy Spirit and say, we need you together. Because what does she want?
She has seen the working already.
Yeah, she's built a life here, built a significant life here. And you see, that's why Tony can sit on top of 3 different businesses worth over $1 trillion, right? Because he has built a business that people, their dreams are accommodated inside
the business.
Right?
Yeah.
So so when somebody says, how big should your business grow? That's how big it should grow. At least if you can't see how far, I'm not saying go and change what I'm saying. Look at all the people that work for you now and say, look, if all these people wanted to have the quality of life that I currently have, what does my business need to be doing?
I think that's fantastic.
And then you then sit down with them and say, okay, I'm not asking that you also dash anybody money. You say, okay, this is where you are. To be able to earn this quality of income, this is where you need to be. Let people know, because many times, if people know what to do to get what they want, they'll do it. The conversation is easy. Many times we're not having this conversation with other people. So that's how big we need to get. Yeah. Now, when you think big like that, you would have to think long term. And so what that means is that you would now have to make decisions that can get you there. It's not everything that you make that will get you there. There are some decisions that you would make that would keep you in business today. There are some decisions that you make that would guarantee tomorrow's money. You know?
Yeah.
So, for example, a very, very, and I want to sort of get into, you know, because we're talking about outdoor.
Yeah.
Right?
Outdoor advertising.
You know, a very, very important thing is, if you want to build a big business long term, you need to be bothered about your brand.
Yeah.
You need to be bothered about what level of brand credibility have we built or are we building, right? We need to be bothered about what level of brand visibility do we have.
Yeah.
And there are 2 different things, right? Because there are some platforms that can offer you massive amounts of visibility.
Yes.
But not as much amount of credibility, right? There are some platforms that would offer you a large amount of credibility, not as much amount of visibility. And there are some platforms that might offer you both.
Both, yeah.
Right? And so you now have to start to measure and say, okay, because the ones that would offer you credibility and not a lot of visibility is building your brand
for you,
right? And is probably shifting the quality of clients that would now want to talk to you.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, earlier this year, the business that we're working with to raise 300 million, right? Earlier this year,
$300 million.
No, pounds.
Pounds.
So earlier this year, there was a meeting at the House of Lords, and I literally insisted that he goes with me. I was going to be speaking at the place, and then it costed him a lot of money to go. but there was very few people there, right? Now, everybody...
House of Lords in UK.
In the UK, yeah. Everybody in Nigeria is not even aware of that meeting. But I told him, I said, look, what are the chances that 2 Nigerians would meet at the House of Lords in the UK? And then the quality of people in that
interaction.
room. If you talked about, I mean, this thing that when the relationship that he formed there, what he was looking to raise was 5 million. Yes. That over a series of conversations, right? By the time it got the attention of the actual person who could help raise the money and made a speech and all that, the person says, look, this is good, but it's easier for me to find $100 million for you than 5. So you need to go and find me a plan that my contacts can work with. Do you understand? So now, why is that person having a conversation with him? Because the chances of a Nigerian living in Nigeria showing up at an event in the House of Lords is significantly slim.
Yes.
And when you enter into those rooms, there's an assumption of competence. You know, what you say you can do, they will believe it.
For you to be here.
Good. So that platform offers credibility.
Yes.
Not a lot of visibility.
Not a lot of visibility, yeah.
But a lot of credibility. Right? Now, he could have gone online and ran 5 million naira worth of ads and targeted, if he knew all those people that were coming, targeted them individually. They will like his post, maybe they will comment. But Shingbai like this is not coming out.
And they won't be able to see him to.
Do you understand? Because nobody gives you $5 million or $10 million from clicking. You know, they click, $5 million in your account.
It has to be an in-person.
Because that's a credibility conversation.
Yes.
That's a conversation about, look, I've seen this guy first in a setting that very few people can access. And then I've had a conversation with him. And then over a couple of months, I've looked at his business, you know, and the likes. Right? So that offers credibility, not a lot of visibility. Now, visibility, of course, the usual, the digital, you know, ads and the likes. But there are platforms like outdoor advertising that offers the opportunity for both when done right.
Yeah, when done right.
You know, so like I explained to you, we do a lot of outdoor, and every single place we have an outdoor, there's a reason for it. It's not, one, the reason why we're doing is not to sell tickets for our events. No, we're not interested.
Even though you have events.
Oh, we have events. We're not interested in, now, have there been, you know, we have about 800 people coming to our events. Of all of them, only one person has called us that they saw the billboard, took a picture of it, sent to the number there, and told the person they wanted to attend. Only one.
Wow.
Yes.
And you have multiple billboards.
We have 7 billboards across Lagos now.
But yet you still find it a worthy investment.
Oh yes, because we didn't do the billboard for people that want to pay to attend. We did the billboard for 3 reasons. Number one, we did the billboard to be able to attract our speakers for next year. You see, because the speakers that we want to attract, they are above our league. Yes, they are above our league. They are not people that we know, right? And yes, we try to get connections. We try to get people inside to sort of introduce us. Yeah. But we know that if our letter lands on their table, they're going to ask, what the hell are these guys? Right? But when they read the letter and then they drive to Maryland and they see the billboard, or they see the billboard on 3rd Mainland, or they see the billboard in all these different places, chances are that they will think that we're serious. In fact, the people who, they are gatekeepers, because I mean, I told you about one that we work, they are gatekeepers seeing the billboard will now say, oh, these guys, no, they are good. Yeah. I know a lot about them. They will even be lying on your behalf. Say, no, they are very hot. Their brain is correct. You know, but because of the perception that they have of you. So the first is for the speakers. The second is it's helped us to shift the perception of clients that we already have. So we have people in our community who are doing okay. And in fact, we had one of them like that the first time we put up that billboard in opposite Lekki Phase 1, massive billboard, we were able to get that client to pay us about 6 million naira for a document. You know, and that was the most that the client had ever paid us for that particular. So it's, I've seen you guys billboard. He said he wanted to work on a document, and God, I hope the client doesn't watch it. So he said he wanted to work on.
I hope the client does watch it.
He said he wanted to work on a document, and then we chat. He paid. You know, to be honest, that document took me 40 minutes to do. Wow. I gave them 2 weeks. So I finished the document in 40 minutes, but I submitted it 2 weeks after. Because if you just quickly submit it like that, they will be like, as if, you know, the thing was easy.
It was too easy.
So
why am I paying all this?
I finished the document, you know, and then I set a reminder to remind me to submit the document
at the appointed time.
And in 2 weeks, when I called the client, so your document is ready. They said, oh, thank you for doing it on time. I said, but we don't finish it 2 weeks ago. But we didn't want to. So that one, it helped us to change you know, that. But also, it also then became a tool to enable us attract higher quality clients. You know, so there are people that are not in our league, you know, yet. And we want to get those kind of people. We want them to give us a chance. We want them to see us. We want them to, you know, give us opportunities that we are already preparing for. Yeah. You know, and those kind of opportunities, you know, those kind of exposure allows you to access those kind of opportunities. But I wouldn't say it's an easy conversation to have. You know, it was a very difficult conversation for me to have, first with myself, then with my team.
About the investment.
You know, because it's a lot of money to put down, you know, but I had to share with them and said, look, this is where we want to go. These are the people who play at the level that we want to go, right? And I believe very, very strongly in the concept of success modeling, right? If I want to be as successful as you are at what you do, I'll just try and study what you've done, but I'll study it in timelines, you know? So not just, you know, what you're doing now, but okay, at the time you were at my level, what were the critical things that you did, right? There's a particular guy that was studying, he's a top level consultant in this country, the best there is. To engage him is hundreds of millions a year, you know? And I told you that we went on radio. It's the reason why I went on radio. Because when we studied his timeline, we realized that there was a particular point in time it was on radio. So we went to the exact same radio to go and just go and mark register there that we have done what he did.
Interesting.
Right? And so a lot of what we are doing is to look at the kind of people who have achieved, you know, things that we want to achieve and say, okay, how do we sort of model some of the things that they've done? Because sometimes you realize that if you try and understand why they did what they did, it then starts to make sense for you. You know. And then once it starts to make sense for you, you would start to achieve the kind of results that they're achieving. So if Nigerian business people can think a little bigger, right? And when I say bigger, I mean, don't just think about yourself. You know, measure your success by how well your people are doing. So you ask, how can my people access the quality of life that I have? I mean, they see you, they see what you drive, see where you live, see all those things they wanted. If they don't want anything in their life, that's what they want, right? How do you create a life where that's possible for them? That's one. Secondly, how do you then create a plan long term, right? How do you take your 5 million naira profits that you think you have this year and say, look, I'm not going to declare profits. I'm going to take that money and I'm going to ask, what can this money do in our business that can increase profitability next year to 10 or 20? Yeah. Right? It might mean, we need to hire a influencer for whatever we do. It might mean sometimes it might even mean we need to change the office. Yeah. Right? Training. Yeah, we might need to upgrade the office so that when people come in, you know, I mean, we had to do that some years ago, you know. I said, look, we spent, I think it was 30-something million upgraded the office because we wanted our office to start to look like the offices of the people that we want to serve. Not the people that we serve, the people that we want to serve. And by the time you change the office, dress code automatically changed. Because people cannot just wear palm slippers to a certain kind of office. They have to wear the one that will be making noise, you know? So everybody now is wearing cold shoe, you know?
For the right ambience.
Do you understand? So it changes even their mindset, right? So, but, and then you also have to then be very honest about how hard business is. And I think that's one major thing that Nigerian businesses have not, you know, and it's people like me, it's our fault. Motivational speaker.
Aspire to perspire.
Now, let me tell you why. We've sold entrepreneurship for many years as the easier option. So we say, your life is, your business is hard. You leave that business, go and start your own business. It's easier. You are your own boss, you work on your own time and all that. you know, and you know, entrepreneurship is like somebody that went to hellfire. You know, because you are in hell now. You can't come back and tell us that hell is bad. You know, okay, entrepreneurship is like somebody that jackpot. You know those people that jackpot? They enter the UK. It's now tough. They can't tell us that it's tough. So what they will just be doing is that they will just lock it. You might have some friends that will be telling you the truth.
They will lock up.
They will lock up. You know, you will now not see them on social media for like 2 years.
Until everything is okay.
Then when things now arrange, they now come out and say, now on LinkedIn, they now say, you know, benefits of not giving up in life. You know, or once in a while, when they have free time, they will go and take one picture where it is snowing and used to terrorize everybody. That's how entrepreneurship is. The reality is that it is hard. And the real reality is that there is no version under which it gets easier. That's the truth. You see this life, it gets hard and hard and hard. If you are Dangote, if you come out of cement and you enter petrochemical, you go see. You know, the shege that is there is waiting. If Dangote finish that one now, finally comes out, and he go and buy us now, he will still see. Because it's not like they will win anything. So the point is, there is no version of this that is easy. So we must be prepared for life to be hard, and we must decide to be harder than that life.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Because if anybody is telling you that, you know, any entrepreneurship that is positioning like it's easy doesn't really run a business. That's the truth. Yeah. What they have is what's called an income opportunity, and it's different. So let's say I'm a drop shipping guy now.
Yeah.
I'm running my drop shipping something. I'm making 20 million, 30 million a month. It's not yet a business. It's a project. It's an income opportunity, right? The day I decide I want to scale it, okay, maybe I'm running drop shipping on shoes. So I say, okay, I want to brand. You know, I want to put my name on the packaging of the shoe. That's where a business starts. That's when you
another level of complication again.
You know, that's when you see that. I mean, all those people that have an opportunity that are terrorizing all of us on
online,
on Instagram with fine cars. Just what I need, because I study these guys. Just what you need to do is watch them for a long time. They either die out or they go very quiet as they become more successful. Because they realize that all these things we are saying, that's not how it is.
Yeah.
This thing is hard. There is no version of entrepreneurship that is easy. In fact, I always tell people, you know, they did a study in the US to find out what's the easiest way to become a millionaire. And the easiest way to become a millionaire was not to become an entrepreneur. It's to be number 2 or number 3 in a fast-growing company. Yeah, because you get the benefits without the risk, right? Entrepreneurship is hard. So if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, you have to accept that this life is like bricklayer work.
You sign.
It's like bricklayer work. It doesn't get easy. It gets harder. Now, so I like to say that the entrepreneur's life is like a movie. You see, most of us, we forget. When you watch a movie, it's 2 hours long, right? So the first 10 minutes, it looks like everything is okay. Then for like more than an hour, everything goes to shit. Like they are shooting gun, everybody wants to die. Then the last 10 minutes, everything now arranged back, right? And then everybody's happy.
And then you have a good feeling.
But if you watch part 2 of that movie, you realize that last part of the previous movie is only that time that everything was okay.
Just a small
because
respite.
By the time they enter part 2,
another
everything goes to shit again.
Right?
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So everything goes to shit again, and everything is going all bad, and then the last 10 minutes, that's what entrepreneurship is. Right? The first 10 minutes, you know, that's when you start business, the first 2 deals, you look as if it's work. You know, say, where was I in that office first? Useless office, they almost killed me there. I've run this thing. Oh yeah, let's continue now. Then everything goes to shit for like a long time. You know, there are days you wonder who sent me a message. You'll be looking at those your clients, your friends that are still working in KPMG. They can buy a new iPhone. Your own is still iPhone 9 Plus. You know, you can't afford a new one. But at the end of the day, then you hit one big deal, then everything works out for 10 minutes, and then you go into a shit show again. But that's how entrepreneurship is, right? It's the joys of it is short and far between, but it provides fulfillment. That's the good part of it. Because if I asked you, if I wanted to write a story about your life and you wanted it to be a bestseller, if I wrote one, would you want one in which everything just works out well? Or you want one that goes to shit and everything looks like it's going to be bad and eventually works out? That's the one that would make money in the box office.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So ultimately, it's not a very happy life, but it's a very fulfilling one, right? Where you look back once in a while, and while things are quite tough for you, you look at somebody in your staff who can pay their school fee, their children's school fees, who can have a very decent life,
can
because
go on trips and
holidays,
holidays
because they work with you. You look at your and I dare say also that while things are hard, the things that are hard for you today will not be hard tomorrow. So at the beginning, you are worried about paying salaries. There'll be days where salary is not the problem. The salary is the least of your problem. Now you're looking for $18 billion to build the refinery.
Right.
Do you understand? There'll be days where you have finished building the refinery. You are now looking for how you are going to collect the fuel from NNPC or give the
feedstock,
whatever it is. So hard at different levels, but hard regardless, right? So
it never ends, right?
It never ends.
It never ends.
It's a bricklayer work.
Yeah, it's been amazing conversation. Amazing conversation, and I can't even begin to pick out all the gems. But I know you have an event coming up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so before we wrap up, I just want you to just speak a bit about the event coming up, because
so we have an event on the 18th of November. It's in a few days at the Eco Convention Center. It's called the Limbsimple Strategic Growth Convention. The focus of that event is to be able to bring people that think long-term about their businesses, that want to grow big, and then we'll bring them together to be able to help them find strategies to network, and then to be able to build a long-lasting business, right? What's beautiful about the event is that while the event is 2 days, the event actually had started about 60 plus days ago. We have this 90-day program that we take people through, and then we have a 90-day program after the event.
Okay.
So after the event, you're also still going to get opportunity for us to work with you long term, and you're going to be a part of our alumni. You're going to access that $5+ billion market that we have. You're going to access all the opportunities that we provide in the community on a day-to-day basis. So if you're interested, you can send a text to one of our numbers. So it can be on the screen.
There will be,
and then if you do that,
in the captions,
we could give you a Nimbus discount.
So definitely, I can speak about the strength of the community, being that since when I did the program, I've been part of the community, and on reaching out to you, you are so gracious to accept the invitation, and it's been an amazing conversation. So I just want to thank you again for all the light that you've shed on your business and your story, and wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Yeah. So, and thank you all for joining us today on this episode. I hope you've gained a lot. I have gained a lot. So till next time, catch you later. Cheers.